I'm going to introduce you to Kelly Liss. She's the founder of the STEM Leadership Alliance. We it was established back in 2018 with all the major science associations, and we've been going through it every year. And I'm just going to give you a little preview. Next year, we're moving this to the Houston Space Center. It's going to be more practical. We're going to do a lot of hands-on, and we're really excited about the move. So with that said, Kelly.
Well, good morning, everyone, and I just want to say how special it is to see all these faces in the room. There's so many that are familiar. There's some that are new here. So whatever this is, your first time or your 20th time, welcome. And when I say that, I was reflecting back and thinking about this, but when I started doing these summits, it was actually 20 years ago. And so my kids were 3 and 4 at the time, and now they're 23 and 24. And so when I see the staff that's been here, and they're like, oh, well, your kids aren't here? And I'm like, no, they're grown up and they have jobs. And I'm like, yes. So it's very exciting. So I just want to first welcome everyone and just thank you for being here. As Sal had mentioned, we have numerous flight delays, but we want to still keep this agenda on time. We're recording all of these sessions, so people will have that opportunity to catch up along the way as well, too. So let's just start with why are we here? And there's a passion that we all have about STEM education. But STEM education is not something that should just sit within a science classroom. And we all know that. It's more than that. It needs to connect across those content areas. And we want students to be prepared for challenges and opportunities of the 21st century. So I know people will use the term STEAM or STREAM or other words like that, but when we talk about STEM, we're talking about the skills that are necessary, what comes out of STEM, the connectors that happens across all of those subject areas, because that's what STEM is about. It's about getting students excited to say, wow, I'm studying a volcano, but you know what? There's history and social studies I can learn about it. There's math that I can equate to it. It becomes real. It becomes alive, and that's what this is about. So we want to also focus on the importance of STEM education. And so let me just give you a couple facts here. According to the US Department of Commerce, STEM occupations are growing at twice the rate of non-STEM occupations. And they're projected to add actually 9 million new jobs by 2028. STEM workers have lower unemployment rate, and STEM skills, and I'm going to emphasize that word skills, are in high demand. So skills is the part that we have to hone in on, because as a country, we're changing. It's no longer about going into a job saying because I have expertise in that field. It's about going into a job/career based on the skills that you have. And that's one of the things we're going to be highlighting and talking about this week. So again, what does STEM do? It fosters creativity. It makes innovators. It creates curiosity, problem solving, communication, all those things that are essential for life as well as citizenship. And it also enables students to understand the real world. How many times have we heard a student say, I don't understand why I'm learning this? What's the purpose? What's the value? We want to shift that. We want students to go, aha, I know why I'm learning this, because I was studying this in my science class, but now I'm reading about it, I'm writing about it, I'm getting excited, and I'm getting engaged. So the other part that we have to emphasize is that STEM is for all students at all ages. It's about that hands-on, it's about that creativity that we want them to get excited about. We want to expose children to STEM concepts and activities. We want to make it fun and relevant and accessible to everyone. So the other part, too, is that it's something that we want to say it's going to go beyond just the regular classroom there. We need to connect students to career technical education. That's a large part of what we're going to be focusing on this week. How do we take STEM and connect it to CTE? How does that happen? What if I'm in a school that doesn't have CTE programs? Well, we're going to hear from some models and exemplars that are doing just that. How do you bring CTE into your classroom, into your school? The next part of it is that there's a new wave happening, and I'm not going to say new because it's been around, but AI. Artificial intelligence is here. It's something we have to embrace. If we don't, our students will. And the issue with that is they're already using it. They already know all of the little AI. They know how to get these answers really quick. But now we have to be the leaders and understand that. So we're going to break that down. And we're going to understand how does that also work in the world of STEM. So how do we use that to benefit and to connect us? So today, what I'm asking everyone in the room is to interact with each other, to have conversations, to get out of your comfort zone. What's so important here is that we have experts. All of you are experts. All of you are leaders. And we have some amazing minds that are in this room. So I want to encourage everyone to get to know one another, to understand, wow, I didn't know, where you're coming from, and oh my gosh, I'm going to meet someone from New York or Louisville, Kentucky, or Arizona, or some other place there. But find those connections, because there's a wealth of knowledge that's here. We have an all-star lineup, and I am so proud of what we have accomplished with this summit this year. Each day, we're going to begin with an activity that is being led by the Challenger Center. And those activities are a way for us to think, to really start to go back and say, I'm a student. Let's get in that mode of learning. Let's get excited, hands-on, and get engaged there. So I want to thank Sarah, James, and Jennifer for organizing this and being a part of that. So thank you for that. We're then going to hear today from the U.S. Department of Education, Amy Lloyd. She is the Assistant Secretary of Career, Technical, and Adult Education. And unfortunately, she's one of the people who can't be here, but you know what? We all know how to pivot quickly, so she's going to actually join us via Zoom. But again, to hear kind of at a national level what's happening with career and technical education is extremely important there. We also have our friends from the Philippines that will be sharing their innovations with us. And so welcome. We're so glad that you were able to join us. And I'm really, really excited for us. Again, it's about learning not just what's happening within our own community, but what's happening around the world and hearing about the innovation and the strategies. We also have Maria Spina from PSE&G joining us today. We're going to hear from Kevin and Kelly from NCTM and ITEA, and Kelly's trying to make her flight here as we speak right now. But I also want to say that we just have an amazing group of people. We're going to hear from IS 528, hold on, moment there, and hearing really how they've gone through their learning journey and what they've actually accomplished as well, too. But I want to tell you a little story on how this all started and how we really started to put these pieces together. So it was, I don't know how many years ago it was now, but there was a group of us, and it was Al Byers, and he's now with the university system in Virginia. At the time, he was with the National Science Teaching Association. And then we had David Barnes from the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics, and it was Sal and myself. And we were talking about STEM, and we were saying, when you hear those letters, you hear science, technology, engineering, and math. And everyone said, yeah. They were invited to each other's conferences, and they said, yeah, well, I get a slot, and I'm going to talk about math at the science conference. And science is going to talk about math at my conference, so on and so forth. And what we said is there needs to be connections. It needs to be integrated. It shouldn't happen in silos. And that's exactly what we did, and we put it on a napkin. And that's what started this journey here. And I was at GE at the time. Since then, I've left GE, but was so passionate about doing this work that my partner in crime over here, Sal Fernandez, says, sure, we can do this work together. And so we continued this learning journey. because it's something we deeply care about, because we don't want STEM to sit only in science. We want STEM to sit across all of the content areas, because we want all children to have access to a quality education and to really understand the resources that are available to them, to explore their own community, to have that light and excitement come on. So when we talk about what our journey is going to be, it's really about how do we draw those connections? How are we going to work together? So just a few housekeeping items now. I'm excited for today, and as I said, get to know your neighbor. Get to know your neighbor at another table. We have lots of different groups here, but that's the most important thing. What you put into a conference is what you get out. If you sit there and you're passive with it, you're not going to get anything out. I'm also going to tell you, have fun. This is a great time. We've had a lot of laughs. It's a lot of enjoyment. But you know what? Think outside the box. Let your hair down, if you have the hair to let down. But let your hair down and just have some fun there. So a couple things. I want to ask just everyone to be on time. We have a really, really tight schedule. And I keep it tight because then we end on time. And then if you want to go to the parks, you have the opportunity to go to the parks. A couple things about the parks. You do get a conference discount. They do have an after 4 o'clock Universal ticket you can buy. And always make sure that you have your room key with you when you go to Universal, because that acts as your fast pass. There's also City Walk, there's lots of restaurants, there's lots of wonderful things to do, shops, all of those good things. The other thing is we like to celebrate here. And we do have a birthday that happened yesterday. And I'm also going to say, if there's any birthdays or anniversaries and you know about it, but that person next to you is like, please don't say it's my birthday, tell us it's their birthday. We will not embarrass them too bad. And I'd like to ask Susan Stransberry. Where's Susan? Is she here? All right, Susan, come on up. So we like to do this because you're at a conference. Come on up towards the stage here. Oh my, that was very impressive. Wow. And we're all going to sing happy birthday. All right, are we ready? And we have a little box here. Ready? Happy birthday to you.
The last time I came here in 2019, you did this song too.
You were already prepared.
I knew what was going to happen.
Happy birthday to
But I love
you.
the event last night that you had for my birthday. I just pretended you threw that for me.
There we go, there we go. Well, there we go. So that's what we want to do, is we want to celebrate. So if you know of anyone, make sure. So also, sign-up sheets for the breakout sessions. So make sure you sign up for them, because we do have a cap for each of those sessions there. They're right outside the door here. They're to the right as you go outside the door, and they're right at that end table there. So if you haven't done that, do that as well. Make sure you grab your coffee. We don't have the coffee in the morning here, but if you feel like, you know what, I need another coffee to go, just let the front desk know, and they'll grab you a cup as well. I also want to just introduce the team that's here. And this team is absolutely amazing. They're volunteers. They care deeply. They have such a heart, and I want to just recognize all of them. So Roy Harris, and there he is in the back there. He joined us in here. And Roy has been on this journey for a long time with us, so he's amazing. I want to thank you, Roy, for everything you do. We have Amber Bossman, she's going to come up in a moment and talk about the app, and I'm excited for her she's been putting all these pieces together, so thank you, Amber. I have Joe Hetzel in the back, and his wife, Diane, is actually at the registration desk, so thank you. I have Val over here, who is my partner in crime. And then her husband, Jason, in the back as well there, too. And then Linda Hawks is the queen of that registration desk, so if there's anything there, you tell her you need anything, something's not right, she's gonna be on it and fix it there. And also out with her at the front desk is Amy Fisher as well, too. And I have to say, because I forgot last night, is my brother Keith is here. And so I wanna thank him for being here. And I will just say it's very special because my dad used to always help and participate in these conferences. He passed away about 5 years ago, and my brother has filled his shoes on coming and joining and being a part of it, which is very special to me.